Cross up hope to the Golden Week PSN sale. Now before we get on with this video, I have a warning for this sale. Most of the games in this sale are not the version of the games you should be picking up. And what I mean by that is they're the basic versions. They don't come with any of the DLC, or the deluxe content, or any of the extra stuff, which is really quite bad. You're much better off waiting for most of these games to have their deluxe edition or complete editions on sale at some point. You'll save a lot more money and get a lot more game as well. So be warned, check the other versions of the games that aren't on sale. You may be missing out, especially in this sale. There's a ton of games that are just the basic versions, when their deluxe ones go on sale all the time. You've been warned. But on the bright side, I found some really good deals in this sale, and I've picked out the games that you're not missing out on content with as well. So if you're picking any games from this list, then don't worry, I've got you covered. They're the good versions you should be buying, so don't worry about it. So don't forget to subscribe if you like finding some cool games to play, and saving a lot of money on buying them as well. You're welcome here anytime. Okay, this sale ends on the 10th of May, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up is Dead Rising 4, Frank's Big Package. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £8.99, which is pretty good, as this edition includes all of the DLC, the bonus content, and exclusive items, for a total of 3 full expansions, the Capcom Heroes mode, Street Fighter, and My Bloody Valentine outfit packs, and 5 extra weapons as well. So you're getting the best version of the game, with all of the content as well, which is great. In this third-person action game, you're trapped in Willamette, California, at the site of the first zombie outbreak, where you play as Frank West again, fighting zombies and the evil corporation Obscurus, who are looking for the secret to create smarter zombies. This is from a really popular series, and it was originally a launch title for Xbox, so if you're a good boy and don't have an Xbox, and you were always a fan of these fun zombie games, then you might just want to pick this up now. We have a legendary JRPG next, Final Fantasy VII. It was released in 2015, so it's 8 years old, although the game's much older than that really, like by another 20 years, and is on a 50% discount for the price of £6.49, which is pretty good, as this edition is the PC version, with superior graphics, sound, and also includes the Midgard PS4 theme as well, which is pretty cool. In this JRPG, which is the most famous and legendary JRPG of all time, it's set in Midgard City, where you play a mercenary who is contracted to help conduct raids on the city's Mako energy reactors that are believed to be draining the very life force of the planet. And if you know anything about this game, you'll know that's a very tiny part of the story, because this game is beyond epic. Seriously, if you've never played JRPGs before, especially a Final Fantasy game, you have no idea how massive, complicated, and fleshed out the worlds in these games are. If you've never played one, but you're a fan of RPGs, you owe yourself to play them. They're turn-based, so if that's not your style, it might put you off, but hey, they're legendary for a reason, and you're just not going to get stories and experiences like them anywhere else. If you're a fan of the genre and you haven't played them, what are you doing with yourself? Play this game. And hey, if you've never played a JRPG before, this may be an old one, and the graphics may not be that up to date these days, but it's literally the most famous RPG on the planet. So it may not be the best place to start, especially if you can't handle all the graphics. It's legendary for a reason, and at some point, if you like this genre, you're gonna have to play it. So at least take a look at it. If you're interested at all in this genre, it's inevitable you're gonna play it. So just play it. We have another JRPG next, Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £7.49, which is really good. In this game, mankind has built an empire to combat the fallen god Firebringer and defend humanity. But after a millennia of fighting to defeat him, infighting has broken out amongst the survivors, and now it's up to you to forge a new future for mankind. This may not be from one of the biggest JRPG franchises, but hey, it looks really good, so if you're a fan of JRPGs, you should definitely consider it, as you may really enjoy this game. But if you've never played a JRPG before, then I would say start elsewhere, because you can pick up some legendary AAA ones at about the same price or cheaper, which is a much better place to start. Just be warned, JRPGs are really engaging and they take hours and hours to play, which is a great thing, but don't complain when you love it and you just lose days and weeks to them. They're totally worth it though, definitely take a look at one of them. Up next we have Shining Resonance Refrain. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which is really good. In this RPG, dragons were long thought extinct, but Yuma holds the ability to transform into a shining dragon and is imprisoned by the evil Empire for it. But soon enough, with the help from the Dragoneers, you are freed and asked to help out and end the Empire forever. The dragon transforming in this game kinda reminds me of the Breath of Fire series, which is a great comparison because that series is underrated. Everyone bangs on about the Final Fantasy series, which is deserved, but hey, the Breath of Fire series had dragons, and you can't beat that, right? And this game does too, but in 3D with modern graphics and gameplay mechanics, so you can't ask for much more, right? A really cool JRPG with dragons and everything. If you like the sound of it as much as I do, definitely check it out. And hey, if you haven't played an RPG before, this one's a really good one. But there's tons of options in this genre, especially when the Japanese sales come around. So if you're not sure, don't worry about it. There's tons of options, and most of them are AAA legendary games. So take a look around, you can't go far wrong in this genre really. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization Deluxe Edition is our next game. It was released in 2016, so it's 7 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £7.79, which is really good, as this edition includes the Season Pass, with the new playable characters, quests, maps and areas, costumes, new monsters, and bosses, so you're getting a really good version of the game with a load of extra content included, which is really cool. In this game, a new VR MMORPG named Sword Art Origin has emerged, and Kitio meets a mysterious NPC with a cryptic message. This new game seems familiar, but it's not the same as the one he escaped from years ago. It features 4-player online co-op and a story supervised by the creator of Sword Art Online. So if you're a fan of Sword Art Online and you love playing RPGs, you should definitely take a look at this. It's a really good deal. And hey, if you've never played a Sword Art Online game before, then you might want to take a look at this. But if you're not a fan of the show, you can definitely get better deals elsewhere. So if you're not sure, then subscribe and we'll find you something else in the next sale. Up next is my star buy, Sword Art Online Re-Hollow Fragment. It was released in 2015, so it's 8 years old, and it's on at least a 75% discount for the low price of £3.99 or £2.39 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, especially as this game also includes the first Western release of the PSP game Sword Art Online Infinity Moment, with enhanced HD graphics as well, so you're getting a whole extra game included, and it's remastered as well, which is really good, especially because it hasn't been released in the West before, so this may be your first chance to play it, which is really cool. In this RPG, you get to play as Kirito as you explore an expansive fantasy world from the base of Ark Sophia, located on the 76th floor, and you must reach the 100th floor of Almkrad and explore the hollow area. It features 4-player online multiplayer as well, so you can play the game with your mates, which is really good, and unusual as well for an RPG, but not so much for this series. A few of the games have this option, which is really cool. Obviously, you'll really enjoy this game if you're a Sword Art Online fan, especially as you're getting 2 games included. It's a really great deal for 2 really good games, but if you're not a fan of Sword Art Online, I'm not sure if you'd like this series as much, but it's still a great deal. At this price you're getting 2 full games, so you can't really complain too much. If you're a fan of RPGs, you might want to check this out. And hey, if you've never played an RPG before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It's a really good price, but it's from a massive series of RPGs with a ton of other media around it as well, so if you're not a fan of the series or you don't follow it, you might not enjoy it as much, as it's part of a much bigger picture in total. But hey, if you're interested, it's still a great deal, and you're getting 2 games for this price, which is really good, so if you're really interested, take a look. But if not, don't worry, there's plenty more games for you to pick up instead, so subscribe and I'll help you find them in the future. Up next is The Lost Child. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £4.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal. In this game, you're thrust into a fight between angels, demons, and fallen angels, capturing defeated foes and turning them into valuable allies, utilizing them in your party to conquer more dungeons and solve the ongoing conflict. This is more of an old school RPG, in like the first person, dungeon crawling kind of way, like proper old school classic. So if that sounds great to you, you'll really like this game. But if you're like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying, then this game's not for you. Stick with the more modern ones. I love this series. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Link Evolution. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £8.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal, as this game includes all of the DLC content from the last game, Legacy of the Duelist, which is really cool. because if you look at the DLC prices for that game, you would have had to spend a fortune to get all of that. So it's much better off to just buy this game and get it all included for free. I feel sorry for anyone that bought the old one recently, when this is another option. This is a deck building game where you get to take on the most iconic duelists from over 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh history, reliving the original anime all the way through to the newest generation in Yu-Gi-Oh! V-Reigns. It features over 10,000 cards to play with, reverse duels where you get to play as the bad guys instead of the good guys, and a beginner's guide as well, so if you haven't played the game before, it'll teach you how to play, which is good. I was never that much of a fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TV series, but I loved the games. I played a load of them on Game Boy and DS, and I really enjoyed them. And the best thing about the TV series is that if you learn the card game, the TV series follows the card game rules. So if you know the card game, you can follow the games properly in the anime. So if you understand how the card game works, you can follow the fights properly in the show, and they actually follow like a real card game, which is brilliant. Either way, if you like deck building games, even if you're not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, this is a really good game from a really great series that's been going a long time. Definitely check them out. I love them, and I think they're really fun. And if you've never played a deck building game before, this is one of the biggest franchises in this sort of game series, and it's a really good game with really good gameplay. Like I said, I've played them for a long time, and the card game is complicated and deep. It's a lot of fun to play, and not as boring and repetitive as some of the simpler card games. I really like it, and I really like these games, so if you're tempted, why not check it out? And the final game I have for you is Yuno, a girl who chants love at the bound of this world. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of $13.49, which is pretty decent. In this game, using the power of the reflector, you must travel through time into multiple timelines, gathering clues to solve the disappearance of your parents, and find out the truth about what really happened. As per many visual novels, this game includes adult content, so if you're not into that, then skip this game. But if you are, this is a really good deal. Anime games in general are very rarely discounted a lot, and especially niche games like this, they're usually pretty pricey, so if you like these sorts of games, why not take a look at it for this price? And hey, if you've never tried one before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend it. It's a bit risque if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And even though this one's on a good discount, it's still pretty pricey, and you can pick up other ones cheaper. So if you're interested, I would definitely say check out some other sales, and we'll find you a cheaper one some other time. So why not subscribe, and then you won't miss out when they come on sale. And that's all of the games I have for the Golden Week PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the Star Buy? Did it deserve it, or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your complaints down in the comments and we can talk about it later. Either way, I hope you guys found some games you're interested in, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you in the next sale. Au revoir.